Most golfers are chasing a swing that does not match their body. They're following the pros, copying drills, and it's not making their golf any better. They're either not improving or even worse, their scores are suffering. But today I'm going to introduce you to the concept that we use here at Macro Golf, which is your golfing blueprint. And it's about finding a swing that matches your body, your tendencies, and unlocking your best golf. Welcome back to the Macro Golf YouTube channel. I'm Joe, founder of Macro Golf, and today I'm going to talk to you about the golf blueprint, the concept we use at Macro Golf to help you discover your golf swing. And the reason we believe this is so important is we see all the time clients coming into our studios across the country and talking to us about how they're struggling with the swing changes they've been trying to make. Maybe they've seen drills online, maybe they've been working with a coach, and they just haven't been seeing the improvement in their scores. And they always feel like they're struggling with the same things and making the same mistakes on the golf course. And most of the time, the issue that we see with those players that aren't seeing improvement is the changes they're trying to make don't match their physical tendencies, their actual golf physical blueprint of what their body can do and how their body likes to move. And it means they're in this constant cycle of fighting against their body, and it always feels a struggle and a grind to make the changes. And even when they feel like they've made the change on the driving range, they get onto the golf course or go and play their monthly medal, and the scores just don't come out. The golf just doesn't come out. And again, they're back in that cycle of trying new drills, trying new changes to make their golf swing better. So myself and my team came up with this concept of the golf blueprint. And now every client we work with, we take through this process. And the results we've seen have been significantly better than anything we've seen in our coaching history. So I want to show you today how you can start to look at some of these ideas of building your own golf blueprint and start to give you some ideas on what we do with our clients to kind of build this process out. So you can see here, the golfing blueprint has multiple kind of sections that we go through, but we will always start with a physical screening and assessment and develop a physical blueprint for the player. And this will include things like height and limb length, things that aren't really changeable. They're just your physical characteristics. But we will also look at things like mobility, the amount of range that you have, your ability to rotate, your ability to flex and extend. We'll also look at posture. We'll also look at your strength levels. We'll also look at your power production. And there's loads of tests that we can perform now that start to give us a really good idea of your physical blueprint and how your body can move. And of course, some of these are changeable, things like your mobility, things like the amount of strength or power that you have, things like posture. All of these things can be changed and improved, but there are some things that cannot change. Height, limb length, size of your hands, the way that you like to stand and move. These things are so deeply ingrained or part of your makeup that we have to build a swing that is matched around these things. There's other elements as well, like the sports that you've played previous to playing golf or currently still do play, or your ideas of how you create power. Do you create a lot of power from the floor? Do you create a lot of power through rotational movements? Are you more upper body dominant than lower body dominant? Are you left-handed, right-handed? Are you left-eyed or right-eyed? All these things are really going to make a difference to how you swing the golf club and where your best golf will sit. So we always start with a physical screening, physical blueprint. We get this physical data and then we take this before we do any swing analysis at all. And the reason we do all of that prior to looking at the golf swing is without that information, it's really hard for us to know from the golf swing which things are changeable and which things are not changeable, which things are faults in the way that we're moving, which things are just tendencies in the way that we can move because of our body makeup. So it's really difficult for us to actually analyze the golf swing and diagnose faults or characteristics without understanding why those things might be happening based on what the body can and cannot do. So some examples of what I mean by this, because sometimes I use these examples with clients when they walk in. There's no way that a 50-year-old desk worker with a busy job, family, and other responsibilities is going to be able to get their physical capabilities to the level of a college player in America. They're just going to be completely different in their physical makeup. Their speed and power is going to be completely different. Their mobility levels are going to be completely different. And there's no way that those two golf swings are going to end up looking the same. We've got athleticism, suppleness, mobility, speed, power, combined with what is most likely going to be some level of restriction, a time constraint on being able to build strength and power, a change in posture from being stuck behind a desk. There's no way that these two bodies can be expected to swing the golf club in the same way. And if you are that desk worker that doesn't have the same physical capabilities and same body as the college player, it's going to be really frustrating for you if you're constantly trying to make the moves that the college player is making. You're going to constantly feel inadequate. You're going to constantly be working on things that just will not work for you. And you're going to end up feeling frustrated and in this cycle of just never really getting any better. And we've seen this a lot over golf in the last few years. We've had different trends that have come and gone. When Dustin Johnson was playing really, really well, there was moments of bowed wrist becoming really, really popular. And there was a lot of coaches trying to push players to bow their wrists. And a lot of these players just got worse because of it. We've recently had Jon Rahm with a lot of success over the last few years, shortening backswing, producing a lot of power from the lower half. And again, there's been a lot of players that have tried that and just not had success because they just don't have the same physical capabilities as these players have. But unless we test this, we don't know if we can or can't put the positions of Dustin Johnson or Jon Rahm, or the classic example of Adam Scott being put up on the screen. So we have to have some level of assessment to be able to diagnose whether we can or cannot make these movements. Which is why this physical blueprint is such an important part of being able to build your golf swing. So now I've covered that part, and hopefully you understand the importance of this in being able to build your golf swing, and why therefore following kind of generic tips or trying to follow models of specific golf swings may not be working for you. Now we can start talking about the process that you can go through to start to understand yourself what moves might be a little bit more appropriate for yourself and your golf swing. First thing we need to do is understand what our body can and cannot do. This is the first part, right? So I'm going to put a video up here. This is a video where you can do your own TPI mobility assessment. You can start to understand where your weaknesses or strengths may be, right? So we're going to start talking mostly about mobility and stability here. We're going to get an idea of how much rotation your body has in different segments, where your areas of restriction are. And even if you never go and improve any of these things, it's going to give you a bit of an idea and your blueprint of where your restrictions are. The next part of this is understanding where your strengths and power sources are. Now, what I mean by this is, where do you produce the amount of power, or where is your concept of power production being based from? And there's a few tests that we do here in the studio based on this. We do a vertical jump test, we do a chest pass test for upper body power, and we do an overhead throw test for core power. And quite quickly, within a short amount of time, we can get an idea of a player's strengths of power production. So do they produce more power from the ground and lower half? Do they produce more power from the upper half? Or do they produce more power through the core? And although it can give us a bit of an idea of what they might do in their golf swing, it also gives us an idea of where that power is stored for them. And this is really, really important, because sometimes we see faults in the golf swing, like an aggressive move from the top or an aggressive thrusting from the ground, and we start to see those as faults. But actually what we can start to do is understand where our power is being produced. And if that matches what we're seeing in the golf swing, actually we can understand that this is their way of producing power and is a huge power source for them. And therefore we can actually start to use this as an asset rather than treating it like a fault. And the final portion of this is, I'll be honest, a little bit more confusing, and it's very, very difficult to do yourself, but I'll try and explain as best I can. We also have tendencies in our body's movement. And what I mean by that is, I'll give myself an example. I am left-handed, but I play golf right-handed. So for me, feelings of left hand working down and around, this type of feeling matches really, really well to my brain, and I can understand and I can visualize in these contexts. Things that involve right hand, for example, the classic example of a drill of skimming a stone, means nothing to me. If I tried to skim a stone with my right hand, I'd be useless. So we have to really understand our deep ingrained understanding of movement, our mental ability to visualize and move the body, and then make sure that feels and drills and movements are matched to that. So little examples of this are you left or right-handed, left or right-footed? Are you left or right eye dominant? All of these things are going to make a difference on what drills are going to work for you, what positions of the golf swing you're going to be able to relate to, and ultimately your ability to create feel and visualization. And this is a really, really key aspect of building your golf swing and working on your golf swing and your blueprint. So you can start to see there's many factors here that can go into it. It's the amount of movement that we have through our body. So what range do we have access to? Where within those ranges do we possess our power and our strength? Is it more in the lower body, upper half, core, rotational, vertical? And also, how does our body use that in day-to-day tasks, in other sports that we've done, in our movements, in our visualization, in our hand-eye coordination? And you start to see there's so many factors that go into this that, again, we just cannot expect two people could swing the golf club identically with all of these different variables that would be going on in their body. So I've already tagged here the mobility assessment. You can go through and do your mobility assessment. What I'm going to do, because I can only tag one video, underneath this, I'm going to tag the power video that you can do. So that's going to give you an idea of your level of mobility and stability. It's also going to then give you an idea of your power production, and you can start to map this out yourself to understand where your strengths and weaknesses are. So once we've got all of this data, and this is the process we go through here at Macro Golf. Once we've got all of this physical data and we've taken all of this information, we can then start to build your golfing blueprint, your golf swing, based on all of this information that we have, right? And we're always going to work off of what you're currently doing. So we're going to always take an idea of what your current golf swing looks like, and then we're going to move things around based on the physical blueprint that we've seen. It's very rare that we will completely take the golf swing apart and start again. We don't often do that. And we recently recorded a podcast with Jack was explaining some examples of when he's done this, but he will always try and avoid this if possible. What we're really trying to look at is what are the tendencies within that golf swing? How do we manage those tendencies? And ultimately, what do we need to do to manage ball flight? And ball flight is always going to be the key metric that we're going to use for any changes that we make. So some examples of this is if you don't have very good hip rotation, it's going to be really, really tough for you to go away and continue to work on trying to gain more hip rotation in your golf swing. Different story if you're going to go away and start to improve your hip rotation with exercises, stretches, all of these things. But if you're going to go and try to just drill more hip turn, more hip turn, more hip turn, it's going to be a very, very frustrating journey for you. The other one I see a lot is trying to drill better backswing position in terms of torso turn. If you tested your torso turn and you don't have a lot of movement here, you're going to be giving yourself a really tough time going away and just continuing to drill on a movement that you just simply cannot do. So what you can then start to understand is, okay, well, if I don't have a lot of hip turn and I don't have a lot of torso turn, my ability to get into this nice wide backswing position is going to be slightly limited. So what can I do? Well, maybe a shortened backswing is going to be a good option for me because it means I can stay into a shortened rotation position, but I can remain nice and stable and I don't feel like I need to come out of posture to create this off my backswing. Maybe I'm going to just point my right toe out slightly to give myself a little bit more space to rotate into that hip. There's some things you can start to do to, once you've understood this physical blueprint, that's going to help you find moves that are going to help you play your best golf. And I'll be honest, it's really, really difficult for you to do this on your own. We've kind of built this process out over the last year or so, and even now we're still refining this process, and it is hard to do yourself. But when you've got an understanding of what your body can and cannot do, you can start to spot things. You can start to understand tendencies in your own movement, and you can start to avoid this chasing of something that's just never going to happen. So you obviously then have some options. You can go away and improve your physical blueprint. You're going to improve the amount of range of motion you have. You can improve your power production. You can improve your ability to stabilize and produce power, or you can work around it and you can start to make a golf swing built for you that actually matches what your body can do. And I guarantee when you find this and you find your solution, you find your matchup that suits your body and your blueprint, golf is going to become so much easier. It's going to be so much easier for you to produce that golf swing, so much easier for you to produce that golf swing under pressure, and it really is going to hold up over the long term. And also going to be putting your body under less stress, less tension, and everything is just going to become a lot easier for you. So if you are interested in learning more about how to do that, head to the link below, macrogolfonline.co.uk. You can read all about how we would design a personal blueprint for you. So next time you're hunting around for the next magic feel, the next drill that's going to transform your golf swing, just take a second to think, is that matched for me, or is that matched for someone else, or is that matched for a professional? That move that's trying to happen there, can I physically do it? Or am I just going to be banging my head against a brick wall trying to make a move that just cannot be done for me? Think about what your body can do. Think about its tendencies. Find its strengths. Find its powerhouses. I guarantee everyone we've had in here in the studio when we've tested this stuff has always had that one thing that they're going to be better than other people at, or that's going to be their personal strength, whether it's a certain power movement, whether it's a certain level of mobility. There's always going to be something, and we can use that to build your swing around that and make sure that is being utilized. So there's no need to be frustrated. You can make a golf swing that is matched to you, and you are going to see the performance of that golf swing when it is done right You just need your personal golf blueprint. And all of this is based around your physicality, your tendencies, your movements. But your best golf is in there. We're going to unlock it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.